Hi, and welcome to this week's Astro Energy Report and three-card tarot spread. I am Desiree, your intuitive counselor here on the channel. This is Soulpath Astrology, where we use astrology, numerology, gene keys sometimes, human design sometimes, and tarot to help make sense of the world, to see where there's patterns, and to work with our own inner guidance system, our own spiritual shape that the soul has taken for each of our incarnations here, and to just really tap into the energy so that we can build the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible, and to live a life that feels like it's yours, not someone else's. We're all about authenticity and sovereignty and truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And this is also a really great place to land if you're somebody that's looking for some like-minded community around really understanding that a lot of things are upside down and tipsy-turvy, and that you were born at a very specific time to be here right now because you have a unique role to play in this beautiful unfolding that is this collective symphony we're playing together. So there's our beautiful intro. If you're returning, I love having you guys here. Today, let's just jump into the Astros. Today, Venus and Jupiter are conjunct. So they're kissing in the sky. They appear to be taking up the same spot in space. They're on the same degree in Cancer. And so this is like, my God, it's so warm and juicy and loving. It's a beautiful day to set intentions for love, for beauty, for all things Venetian. So Jupiter is the great benefic or benefitic or whatever, the great planet that gives good stuff, the great Santa Claus or Oprah. Venus is the minor version. These two are coming together to really create a lot of joy and love and creativity and beauty in your life. And so if, like me, you have been feeling at all, like you're in an in-between place, or you're not sure, like you know what you're done with, but you're not entirely sure where you're going. Today is a really potent day to really sit down and just pause and slow down and connect with your inner guidance system, because the ethers are just charged with this loving, benevolent, emotionally juicy, wonderful energy today. And so enjoy this. Some astrologers would argue that it's like the best day of the year. It's a good day. It's a very good day. It's a beautiful day. Yeah. And then tomorrow, June 10th, Cancer Mercury, because it's going to be in Cancer, squares Saturn, which has been in Aries. So this is a really cool, like to have be the day after the love day. This is speaking with intention. This is speaking your heart's longings into existence. This is planning, like being deliberate. Now, the thing about planning is we have to allow that it's not going to turn out exactly the way that we think that it's supposed to. But it's that setting of that intention. It's the direction of your manifesting drive. It's having a vision that you pour yourself into, while at the same time holding it loosely enough for it to pivot a little bit, but to arrive, to like really land in your body and really land in your voice and speak that which you would love to see happen. Mercury is all about communication. It's the messenger sometimes between our divine self and our human self. It's the trickster. So sometimes there could be quality of play or silliness or irreverency. I really want it irreverency. It's irreverent, not irrelevant, but irreverent, playful and silly. Like there's an invitation today with this energy to really be playful. And then tomorrow, maybe write down, like even maybe write it like it's a story, like as though it's a fictional story, but it's actually yours. The dreams, the hopes, the ambitions, the excitement, and like go wild with it. Make it a fantasy novel. Like it doesn't have to be realistic. If you want to take it down some almost like childlike crazy places, then do so. But I really want to invite you into allowing your voice to speak your heart's deepest most beautiful longings, whatever has been bubbling up today, tell someone about it, someone trusted, someone you love about it tomorrow. June 13th, Venus moves into Leo. So this is exciting. For some of you, you might actually meet somebody new. There might be a new, because Leo is very bold, it's very outspoken, it's very playful, it loves to be on stage. Venus here is like, maybe you buy some new clothes, maybe you like change your look up, maybe you change, maybe there's been a way that you've been wanting to express yourself that you've been like shy about or kind of holding yourself back or worried about coming off as too much or whatever. With Venus in Leo, this is an opportune time to just let her rip, let it explode out of you. Be okay with looking foolish, with looking a little clunky or a little awkward. I invite in a little cringe. Okay. I want to normalize cringy behavior. Because, like, I can feel in my body the tension that I developed in school around being silly or being cringy. And there's a beautiful expression. You can always tell the old school homeschooled kids because they were weird, that now I'm like, yeah, they're weird because they aren't repressed, because they didn't go into the public school system that like crushed them into these little boxes. The energy astrologically is like inviting you into, imagine if you had never been crushed. Imagine if you had never been shamed for your self-expression. Imagine if you were never ridiculed. Like, what would you say? What would you do? What would you allow yourself to think? And what actions would you take? What new skills or games would you try? What new like classes would you allow yourself to dip your toes into if you knew that no one would shame you? If you knew that that crushing weight of embarrassment and cringeworthiness was no big deal, what would you do? Okay, June 15th, new moon in Gemini. I love new moons. This is like where we plant the seeds. So, where this week is inviting you into this deep dive into your big dreams, into your childlike nature, into love and abundance and warmth and like beauty, then it's like, okay, awesome. This new moon is plant those seeds in the new moon energy. And again, in Gemini, this is quick thinking, this is communication, this is video, it's close to home travel, it's books, it's your neighbors. Maybe you're going to hang out super mundane, just hang out with your neighbors. Maybe this is something that's close to your heart that you've been wanting to vocalize for a while. This is a beautiful time to do it. You're so close. It's like, it's almost as though you're on the cusp of something that's been building and building and building. And that, I'm jumping ahead a little bit into next week's reading, but I really do want to talk about Chiron moving out of Aries and into Taurus on the 19th. The reason why I want to go here is because anytime that a planet or a point reaches the 29th degree, like the critical, it's called the anaretic degree, it gets really amplified. And so Chiron in Aries, Aries is the I am principle. This is like, and Chiron here is the wounding and the fear that you have around yourself, your self-expression, your self isness on a very deep level, like a very deep level of, is it okay for me to be here? Is it okay for me, who I truly am, to be here? Where this falls in your chart is going to be like, where's Aries in your chart and what planets do you have in Aries? For me, my sun is in Aries. I actually have a stellium in Aries. And depending on which house system I use, this is either in my seventh house of relationships or my eighth house of other people's resources, sex, and the taboo. Like there's a squeeze here, and I'm feeling it around my self-expression, around my how I'm so afraid to be who I really am and to voice it for fear of ostracizing myself and for not having anyone who wants to be in any kind of relational dynamic with me. And yet, this is what most needs to happen. This is the final lesson on me giving myself permission. And this is anybody, it's just maybe where it falls in your chart is going to be where you're feeling it the most, but it's the I am principle, regardless of its in your financial house or your relationship house or your, your first house of your image or your 10th house of career. And like, it doesn't matter. And if you want to find out or you have no idea what I'm talking about, reach out and I'll help you. But it's still this impulse to own I am, to know thyself, to recognize you don't need improving, you don't need fixing. What you need is to allow yourself to be who you actually truly are and be him or her in the fullness of yourself. This is the final squeeze of this before Chiron moves into Taurus. And this is where that, as a concept, drops into the body as embodiment. This is boots on the ground. This is, how do I eat? What is my environment like? What do I listen to? What do I watch? How do I move my body in a way that is authentic and aligned with who I am? So this is what we're going to be moving into for the next 7 years. It's also really going to be playing a part with the physicality of being human, this 3D world of our planet. And how can we show up in ways that nurture it? How do we tend to the physical soil, our food? Like this, I think is going to come up a lot over the next 7 years. Like really food is thy medicine, and the soil that it grows in impacts the food. The people that touch it, that are growing it, that are weeding it and watering it and being in presence with it impacts the actual food. I think this is going to become very prominent. Like there will be more scientific studies around this. It'll be in the news more. People more and more will be reconnecting with some deep wisdom that if you're like me, you feel it in the marrow of your bones that there is such a deep truth that the water, the air, the soil, the food, it's all so deeply interconnected and not in just an esoteric, like, oh, that's a nice concept, but like literally. Literally. And when you think of what you eat and then it digests in your body, it becomes your body. So that, not just as a loose concept, but as a reality, I think is going to begin to play in more and more with agricultural practices and in how we recognize how we treat the water and the air and the soil is inextricably linked to our health as a species and this like the whole system's biosphere of all of planet Earth, and then actually how Earth itself interfaces with the other planets. Like it's all interconnected very deeply. And I think that over the next 7 years, this is going to become more and more prevalent, more and more something that people awaken to and feel deeply in the marrow of their bones and move forward with in meaningful ways. So, yeah. Woo. Okay, let's take a moment right now. We're going to do our meditation and let me know how this landed in the comments, please. Share the video if you find value in it. Like it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I laid out the cards this morning. I took the picture, I posted in the Facebook group, and then I put the cards away and I never flipped them over. And then I realized I did that and I couldn't remember if I put the three cards at the top of the deck or the bottom. And so I pulled the three from the top and the bottom. And so we're going to get a special treat today. Venus is bestowing us with Jupiter's loving benevolence with not three, but six cards this week. So, yay! How exciting is that? Double the fun, double the wisdom, double the juicy goodness. Let's do our meditation first before we jump into that, though. Just arriving in this moment, relaxing our jaw, relaxing our ears, softening our brow, dropping shoulders, opening chest, connecting with your diaphragm, feeling your breath deep in your belly. Feeling your presence in your sit bones, in your thighs, in the backs of your knees, your calves, and all the way to the foot of your feet where they meet the floor. Imagine filling your meat suit with light, Imagine that you can feel the inside edges of your body with the light that is you. And imagine now with your next inhale that that light expands just beyond the boundary of your skin. And with each breath, I invite you to radiate it a little brighter and a little further out. Maybe you notice some tingling or some warmth or some cooling. Maybe it feels like sparkles or fire. And just know that you can expand this as wide or as compressed as you wish. That your body may give you the basic shape, but you are actually light. You are lighting. And when you're ready, I invite you to blink your eyes open and join me here. Okay, we ready for the 6-card tarot spread? I think what I'll do is I'll read them 1, 2, 3, and then I'll do 1, 2, 3, and then maybe I'll marry them together. We'll see. So let's start with the first 3. It's a bonus. It's a bonus. Okay, here we go. First 3. 1, 2, 3. Card 1, if this was your selection. The Page of Cups. I love him. He's so playful and kind and creative and silly. He's got his little pet fish with him in his cup. Definitely a quality here of irreverency and silliness and creativity. A page is at the early beginning stages. So if this is your card, maybe you are contemplating starting a new creative endeavor, a new emotional milieu. There's an opportunity here to write a new story about how you want to feel moving forward. What happens in our youth is we get a certain emotional pattern, um, almost like, you know, a certain amount of this is what I feel most days. Every once in a while, you have peak experiences or like base experiences, but generally, your life falls within this. And I feel like Tony Robbins said it's like 6 feelings most people have, and you just keep rinsing and repeating those. The Page of Cups, because Cups is about feelings. I want to say that there's this invitation here to expand past your familiar feeling set, to allow yourself into something you historically kind of edge away from, and to give yourself through play and through compassion and silliness the room and grace to try something new. Page of Cups. Okay, second card on the first reading. The Death card. Something's coming to an end. A big something is coming to an end for you if this is your card. I'm really getting like this old way of being, this old way of feeling, this old way of being, using old coping mechanisms. There's an invitation in the collective right now to pause and really ask yourself, what are my real needs that I'm seeking to have met? When I use old coping mechanisms, what are the needs? Like, is it for connection? Is it for play? Is it for creativity? Is it for novelty? Is it for safety? Is it for security? What is it? And allow to die off the old version of you and the old coping mechanisms, and allow that there's a new way of being that's coming down the pipeline, that if you want, you can step into this much higher evolution, higher vibration, broader. So I don't think higher because it's a more brighter, more fully expressed version of you, and showing up and lifestyle for you that feels even more true to you, even more aligned, even more full, but it requires that you let things go. The Death card I mean, this isn't just a small thing, it's a big thing. So just trust that process and know that whatever's leaving you right now is in your highest and best. It's not something you should be clinging for or turning back. The rearview mirror is looking behind you for a reason. Don't let it go. Catch yourself every time you try to like go backwards and remind yourself that the future is where it's at right now. Be present in the present moment and forward facing. That's where your greatest gifts are going to be. That's where the next evolutionary phase, like there is a time for nostalgia. There is a time for like looking backwards and like squeezing the juice out of that. But there's also a time for looking forward. And if you've got the death card, it's about not looking back. It's letting things go as they arise, trusting that process and giving yourself the levity that comes from death that precedes rebirth. Be the phoenix. Allow yourself to dissolve into goo before you reform and become the butterfly that is your next evolutionary shape. I hope that landed. Okay. Card number 3, round 2, or round 1, I should say, the 7 of Swords. I feel like this came up last week too. This is like at its lowest octave, it's about being sneaky and deceptive, but at its highest octave, it's about being strategic and asking for help and recognizing that sometimes it's necessary to plan. Like there's a strategy involved with the 7 of Swords. There's a quality of taking the time to like play things out a little bit, like look to it and see how you might position yourself or who you might want to invite in. What's coming to me right now is like back in school, like elementary school, how you'd have like team captains and then they would pick people like for phys ed or whatever to separate the class into 2 separate teams. It's like that. Like, who do you want on your team right now? That's what I'm really getting. If this was your card, is like, who do you want to invite into your team? Who do you want to bring into your sphere, whether they're seen or unseen, if these are real tangible 3D human people, or if they're in the spiritual realm or whatever. Maybe it's just people that are real, but they're like, you don't know them in physical person, but you know them on YouTube or whatever. But like, who do you want to pull in to your sphere right now to help you move forward with your soul's deepest work? If I'm one of those players, please look me up. Let's book a reading. And taking all three of these cards together, it's like you're starting something new. Something's got to die for that. And there's a wisdom too, like to be cunning or to be strategic, like that takes some smarts. And maybe you're starting something new and you're afraid you're not smart enough. This card is like, you are smart enough. If that's a fear that you have, like put it to bed, allow it to be soothed away. You're definitely smart enough to do whatever it is that you want. And you may have to educate yourself. You may have to surround yourself with people that are already doing whatever it is you want to step into and learn from them. But it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be strategic in your next few moves. And while it is so important to be present, it's also important to have something of an eye towards the future. So, yeah, I hope that landed. Let me know if it did. Round 2 of the next 3 cards. I don't know why counting is so hard today. Oh, let my silliness give you permission to be silly. Okay, card 1, card 2, card 3. This is your selection. This is round 2, card 1. Oh, our beautiful, beautiful second card in the major arcana. This is the High Priestess. So she is between worlds. She's the conduit in many ways between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. If this was your card, maybe you're feeling yourself more and more stepping into your intuitive gifts and more allowing yourself permission to bring them forward into the world and just bring them like unedited, well, I should take more classes. Like she's like, hey, you have inside you, you're naturally connected to it. All of it. We all are. And we're being invited in right now to, if this is your card, especially to strengthen your connection to the World Wide Web, That is the collective consciousness. Like we have a digital version, which is a very small octave. It's like the lowest octave of what the biological actual version is. And the empress is like, or the high priestess, I should say, is the, like it's an invisible energy, but it is the conduit. It's the thing that connects you to your higher wisdom. And the veil is thin right now when she shows up in a reading, saying, like, those little downloads you're getting, those little hits, like you can trust them. You can see yourself as wise, a wise sage, as a sovereign sage. You can trust your inner guidance system. In fact, you must trust it. And I hope that that lands. I hope the high priestess fills you with light and self-trust, because that is definitely her jam. Okay, card number 2, round 2. The Fool. I love this card. He's about to walk off a cliff, oblivious to the fact that he's about to walk off the cliff. But this is how we start new adventures. If we knew all the travesties that were going to beset us, we'd probably never take the first step. And so having this card, and I love that it is in the second position. So we've got these two cards right in the second position. This new adventure, and some old version of you dies, and this new version of you is just about to begin. And how awesome is that? So allowing yourself to be silly and goofy and playful and not necessarily knowing where you're going. Know that you're going somewhere. Feel into that longing, feel into the compass that's within you, and set forth on your journey. And I do want to point out, while he's not heavily burdened, he does have his little bag with his clothes. Like he's not without resources. And he's got his little dog with him too. He's got his instincts. And you can trust your instincts, even if it feels like they're not fully developed. It's in using them and leaning on them that they become more ripened and more developed. And so, if this is your card, trust your instincts, take those first steps, do the brave thing, and start. Okay, finally, last but not least, round 2, card 3, the Page of Wands. He's all about setting a new course. Look how tall his wand is compared to him. It's taller than he is because his dad, the king, gave it to him. So he's not quite as well versed yet as his dad, but he's in every way allowed to and worthy of this. And this is the energy. The staff or wands is really about creativity and spirituality and making magic. It's a fire sign. And so there's new beginning energy with it. Go ahead and start that new thing. It's okay if you're not a pro at it yet. Just do it. Just trust the impulse. Trust that what you need will meet you as you take those steps. So I hope that landed. I love you guys. I hope you have a fabulous week. I would love to hear if anything fun happened for you with the energy on the 9th with Venus and Jupiter together. Maybe buy yourself a lotto ticket, go dancing. I don't know. Get your hair did. Do something fun and nourishing for yourself and for others. And by all means, if you want to get a reading, you know where to find me. If you want to send me a tip, oh, that would be amazing. You can just e-transfer to soulpathastro@gmail.com. And yeah, have a fabulous week, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye for now. Assuming I can stop the video.